So I knew that
Okay.
with my job, like I would not get the 99 along with my job. I need to put in more effort. So I figured out that SPJN is the best choice that I have right now. If I knew I had a good profile. It's just about how I present it on the day. Getting a 99 percentile I could have got, but I knew that I need to prepare a bit more for that. And I see a lot of people, like asking questions. I have a 688, 899, all that sort of thing. Like, can I get into IMA, BC? I feel it's not just about the numbers, it is about how you present it. It's a very long form, and you need to be filling the form very diligently because a lot of people will be
Great.
having 899, 999. So it's
Hello everyone, welcome to Cracku interview series. Today we have with us Yashwant. He has cracked the CAT exam and also got a profile-based shortlist from SPJIMR Mumbai. He has performed very well in the interview and he has also converted SPJ. Now coming to his education background, he has pursued BTech from ICT Mumbai and he is also working professional, currently working with Axxela. He is a senior commodity trader in the US and the European markets. Today he is with us to share his CAT preparation journey and also his journey to SPJIMR. All right. So, hello, Yashwant. Thanks a lot for joining us today.
yeah, hi.
First of all, a big congratulations on cracking the CAT and also making it to SPJIMR Mumbai.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right. So, okay, first let's start with the CAT preparation, and then after that we'll discuss about your journey to SPJ, your interview prep, and all that.
hmm
Okay. So, firstly, can you tell me when you started your CAT preparation journey, when it all started, and how did you
Okay,
prepare for it?
so actually, I had no plan of giving CAT as such. Like I filled the form like 1 hour
Okay.
prior to the closing date, like closing time.
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
yeah, one of my friends, like I mean, he was also working with me, so he gave CAT last year, and he scored a 99 percentile without much preparation. So I thought, like, if he could, I mean, I could also like get close to that mark. So I was like, yeah,
Great.
okay, I'll go on the final date and give. So 2 months before, I just thought of giving a mock test, like how I'd be performing, just to get a feel of it. And one of my friends suggested, like, you can try these, institutes, mock tests for free. Initially, I gave the 3 free mocks that Cracku offered. I found them a bit tough, but then I purchased. But the quality of questions was amazing.
Yes.
I bought the entire like 15 mocha set of Cracku, and I was just enjoying the questions. I mean, even when I didn't perform well, I was really like amazed by the set of LRDI questions and mostly LRDI questions, the sets, how they were prepared. Quant was amazing. I mean, I still remember Malti sir like solving like he explains each and every detail and he still solves under 2 minutes. And I mean, I was not able
Great.
to, I was putting all the
Yeah.
shortcuts and still I took more than 2 minutes. So that was really amazing. So, and yeah, even the daily targets helped a bit. So, whichever the ones that were available on a daily basis for free, so that
Great.
those are the resources I only used. And yeah, the quality questions were
Okay.
really amazing. So, I gave Cracku mock only for first, and I got 3 marks, and I got a 60 percentile. So, that's when I thought, like, I mean,
Okay.
oh, I mean, I need to get a bit familiar with the questions and all. So, I just cannot go there and write, but I knew like I could solve these questions on if I was a bit familiar to the formulas and all. Like if I was in the groove, I could score pretty high on that. So that's how it started.
Yeah.
So I took it seriously. But had I got good marks in that mock, I mean, I would probably would not have prepared and would have directly gone and gave the exam. So thankfully, I mean, I got very less marks than I prepared. So that's how it started.
Okay.
It took me 2 months.
Right.
I just gave mocks and reverse engineered, I mean,
Okay.
on which areas I lacked.
Okay. So, was there any weak section for you? And if yes, how did you handle that section?
Okay, so initially I thought my quant was a little weak. I mean, it isn't as good as an engineer's quant should be. So that's
Okay.
how that's where my main focus was. Like I could like roughly solve about 6 to 8 questions, but I knew that people solve about 12 to 15 to 16 questions, and that's where the meat of the marks were. Like I thought my English was pretty good, but I mean in English, in the reading comprehension and verbal ability, what was happening was that I was not sure which answer is like 100% correct. Like there was this element of luck or something like that. So I was like not sure in any mock like how much I would be scoring even after giving it. I know. So that was something uncertain about it. So yeah, I mean initially what I thought that quant would be my weak section, but it turned out that
Yeah.
RC and that turned out
VRC.
to be like
Okay.
yeah, VARC, it turned out to be like a dark horse. never knew that how much I would get in that after giving a mock.
Okay.
So that's how it was. Yeah. So how I
Okay. So
going
yeah,
about
right. How did you improve
how I
from that?
tackled it. Yeah, it's basically about practice. I mean, after like giving 10 mocks, you roughly get an idea of what the entire syllabus would look like. You would get familiar with all types of questions, and you get a little bit fast in eliminating the wrong options in VARC for sure. So yeah, the percentage of getting the right answer like increased for me. I still wasn't sure which one would be correct and all, but still, I mean, I was a little bit more sure than I was like in the initial days. So that's how it was. Yeah.
Okay, so that's about VRC. And how was your quant and LRDI? Okay, you said quant was fine.
Yeah, quant was
Okay.
like quant turned out to be fine. I was like, so how I see my growth is such like how consistent am I in my performances. So that's how I
Okay.
see my growth. It should not be like that in one mock I'm getting very good marks, but in the other I'm getting low marks. So it should be a consistent thing that if I give 10 marks out of that 10, at least 9 should be like in the same range, plus minus 2 3 questions. So it should not, I don't get happy when I score really high in VARC, because I know that it is the sum of averages, like I mean, where my actual marks, the
Yes.
score I would be scoring. So that was how it is. So LRDI was pretty fine. Like I would be solving like 1.5 to 2 LRDI sets every mock, sometimes three if the question paper was easy. So I was pretty confident like if I get enough time, so I'll be able to do LRDI. So I've also interned in a company where I was developing questions for them, like logical reasoning
Okay,
questions
so
for
during your
it.
final year.
So no, no, in my first year only, I was with a company called Logic It. So
Okay, in the
I
first
was
year of
preparing
your graduation.
graduation. Yeah, yeah. So I prepared over 3,000 logical reasoning questions for like since like
Okay.
standard one to standard five, some even tougher. So it was for students from standard one to standard five. So that they get
Okay.
familiar with those sort of questions. So even class
Elementary
eight as
school.
well. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay,
Even
nice,
standard
nice
8
one.
as well. Yeah. And even I loved like solving these puzzles. So even if I wasn't preparing for CAT, I usually solve these sort of puzzles, Sudoku and stuff like that. So I was a bit familiar with that. Yeah. Quants, it was just about speed, getting familiar with the questions and solving it fast.
All right. So you said VARC was your weak section and you improved in VARC. So can you tell us how was your exam strategy? What was your strategy like and how did you come up with the final strategy in the exam?
Okay, so regarding exam strategy, the first 10 mocks I gave, it was just to know like what the syllabus is like. After that, you can prepare, your strategy for the coming mocks so that you know what the syllabus is going to be like. You just need to prepare the best method on how you can maximize what you know to score better. So in VARC, it was like you choose the passages which you are most comfortable with. I even learned that from Maruti sir. Like he tells like just choose the passage which you are comfortable reading. So I was into like anything
Yes.
related to sports, psychology, uh, history would also interest me. I was not comfortable with science and technology sort of things, so I would skip that. So you get a brief understanding of what the passage is like talking about. So that was one strategy, and another thing is like the last theta questions which have no negative marking,
Right.
the odd one out, I fill the same number like in all the answers. Like I don't even think what it is. So this time in CAT it didn't work, but typically in all of my
Mhm.
mocks, at least one of them turned out to be right. So I don't know if
Okay.
that's a strategy everyone should be using, but if you're left with no time, you just mark the same. The probability is like pretty good. Like I mean, you could get one correct. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, yeah, yeah. So yeah, you told your VRC. Yeah, you can
Yeah,
tell your
VRC.
LRDI and
So
quant.
yeah, LRDI also. I mean, like the typical set of LRDI questions that were coming out there. So I was good with seating arrangement questions. If whenever I see seating arrangement questions out of the five sets, I go for it first. Then data interpretation or games and tournaments, I was good with those. So it's basically about knowing your strengths during those giving those mocks and figuring out which ones you are like really comfortable doing with and just sticking to those, and you'll get like decent, like I see it not just a one time thing. Out of 10 times, which one are you
Yeah, right.
more like, yeah, you're getting most of them correct. And even in quant, I mean, I had my topics covered. Like I was good with arithmetic, time and distance, probability ratio, those sort of questions. Anything geometry, like I knew the concepts, but somehow, I mean, during that like shortage of time, I couldn't get the answer most of the time. So I knew that I should skip geometry in the final exam as well. So anything, I mean, in these topics, I know that if I give it proper time, I'd be able to solve at least 8 questions, and that's how it turned out to be.
All right, brilliant. So now let's move on to your preparation for SPJMR. Firstly, can you tell us
Mhm.
when did you get your shortlist and how you started preparing for your interviews?
Okay, so I got my shortlist in the last week of December. So
Okay, profile based call,
that's
right?
when,
You got a
yeah, the
profile based
profile
call,
based call.
right?
So I would like to tell you that more than I prepared for CAT, I prepared for the like the
Interview
profile,
process, right?
yeah, that I have uploaded. Like I like gave it
Right,
a lot
right.
of time. I took about 13 days, 2 hours each. So I knew that
Okay,
with my job, like I would not get the 99 with along with my job. I need to put in more effort. So I figured out that SPGen is the best choice that I have right now. If I put in a lot of effort in filling the form, I knew I had a good profile. It's just about how I present it on the day.
right, right,
So I knew right from the beginning that this is my best shot, like that I could get. Getting a 99 percentile I could have got, but I knew that I need to prepare a bit more for that, and had to put in rigorous amount of work for that. So I prepared a lot while filling the form for SPJN's profile thing.
yeah,
So I put in a lot of effort while I was filling the form. So
right,
it's not, I mean, I see a lot of people, like asking questions. I have a 688, 899, all that sort of thing. Like, can I get into IMA, BC? I feel it's not just about the numbers, it is about how you present it. It's a very long form, and you need to be like filling the form very diligently, because a lot of people will be
right.
having 899, 999. So it's just not that. I mean, I always focused on, so I had a 998 profile. So but it's
Okay,
just not that I knew a lot of people would be having that. It's about how I present what I know in the form in
correct.
a really
Yes.
professional manner. So I wrote it. I didn't like it. I redrafted it a lot of times. I probably redrafted it about 10 times to uh, just make sure that what I have written in the form is like as precise and as informative as it can be. So that was my go-to procedure. And after that, the selection procedure. So they have basically two ways of selecting people. One is the profile-based, through which I got shortlisted, and then there's this CAT thing where you
Yeah,
need
right,
about 97, 98 percentile. So
right.
what I've heard from like YouTube is basically if you get a profile based shortlist, there are higher chances of converting it, because they'll they'll be interviewing the profile based candidates a little bit earlier than the CAT percentilers. So there's a high chance that you'll be get selected if you get a profile based call. So that was one like
Okay.
stat that I got to know. So
Okay, perfect. So now coming to SPJMR specifically, they are they are known for group interviews, right? SPJMR is unique for conducting group interviews. So can you tell me how did you tackle the group interviews, and how did it go? How did you crack the interview?
okay, so SPJN has this like two sets of group interviews. So you
Okay,
typically know like what the first interview is going to be like. You know the questions. You need to you need to be as prepared as you can. Like tell me about yourself. Why
right.
MBA? If you are sorted with those answers, like then the first interview should go smooth, because in any interview those are the few questions that you would be asked. So you need to be like thoroughly prepared, and you need to be clear in your mind as well as why you want to do an MBA and what you actually want to portray yourself as in those 90 seconds of time that they give you to introduce yourself. So
Okay,
90 to 120 seconds is a decent enough time, that you should prepare for, and you should not also be startled by the question. Yeah, so there were three panelists. One of them was an alumni, one of them was like a professor, and there was this
okay,
lady also from like human resources or something of that sort. And there were
okay.
three candidates in the first interview. Three candidates, three panelists. Yeah. The interviews at the same time, so you need to be also like carefully listening to each one of your peers, and then they ask the question, pass it on to you as well. so that you can add your inputs. Stuff like that happens. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So this is about the first round, right?
Yeah, this is about the first round. Yeah.
So and there's a second round of group interview as well.
Yeah, so the first round is basically an eliminator sort of thing. And
Okay.
before the group interview, there's also a written test as well. So I got this topic of privatization of banks. Share your views on that. So they give you about 15 minutes, I guess, so that you can write whatever views you have on that, and then the group interview starts irrespective of how you perform in that like written
Right.
test. So after this eliminatory first round, you go to the
Yes.
second round. With the second round, like typically 40% people, I mean, they eliminate in the first round, I guess. I'm not sure about the stats, but roughly a lot of people they eliminate. And after that, the second round is more about value-based ethics, real-world problems, how you can add your
Okay.
value to it. In that also they ask you, I mean, to introduce yourself, but not in a typical resume fashion, but like how you are as a
Okay.
person basically. So that was how the interview is
Okay.
about. And again, there were
Right.
four candidates and two panelists were there in that round.
Okay.
Yeah, it is more of a discussion only. They give you a problem, ask everyone their opinions, how they can,
You're right. Yes.
so that was how it was. This was the final round. So what I was saying, there's no fact-based questions as such, like who is the prime minister, who is the like railway
Yeah.
minister
Right.
of India. There's nothing like
Right.
that.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's just like you just need to be like aware about your surroundings, have an opinion on anything, and
Right. Correct.
be able to convince someone or humbly accept that okay, it is a different viewpoint. So that is what I feel that they see.
Okay. So this is the final round of interview, and then there's the final shortlist after this. They make a final shortlist.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So after this, I mean, they tell that they'll announce the results, and the results came about
Right.
like 2 weeks ago. And then
Okay.
there are 240 seats actually, 60 in each department. Your specialization,
Okay.
mine was finance.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that they ask you initially while you're filling the form, so that they see how relevant you are
Right.
for the course. And after that, there's a short like wait list, and up to like 20 to 30, you should be fine. Like a lot of people like withdraw, they are looking for other IIMs or something like that.
Right. Okay. Right. Perfect. So can you tell us how can one build a good profile to get a shortlist for SPJ, profile-based call from SPJ,
Hello.
and also how can one prepare for the interviews?
Okay, so first of all, I mean, I would like to tell that, I mean, like whatever has happened in your past, it has happened. Okay, so you cannot go on and change your CGPA from 8 to 9 or 6 to 8. So it has happened. So for SPGen specifically, I would suggest a safe score, like for all the previous scores, like 10, 12, and grad. An 888 or above 777, or that should be like fine. 888 is
Yeah.
preferable, but anything more
Okay.
than that, I mean, you have a good chance of getting the profile call. So
Right.
that is a basic standard, but still, I mean, a lot of people don't get it because they don't know what to write in the actual profile that they have
Form.
got. So
Yes.
if
Yeah.
you've got more
Right.
than that, then you should definitely apply. And also give it time. Like it's just not about filling in the numbers and submitting the form. Just bring out all the certificates that you have. Just see, I mean,
Right.
what you have done and try to present it in a really good way. Like what is the impact? It's not just not about I volunteered for this. It was about
Right.
what impact did you have. Put in some numbers into it. What was the impact? What was your contribution? What did you learn out of it? And try to put all of that in a very concise way. So they give you 50 words for each question that they have. So that was the like that is why I had to redraft it so many times. I had so much information, but I wanted to put it in a
Right.
very concise way. So
Right.
let
Yes.
me like give you an example. So I
Sure.
volunteered
Yeah.
in an NGA called U&I. So I've worked there for 2 years, and I like it was basically teaching kids English and other subjects as such. So
Okay. Right.
yeah,
In
so
the
it's a
classroom.
one-on-one teaching. They have like 15 volunteers and 15 students. So everyone gets one-to-one interaction. So that's how it
Okay.
was. It was before pandemic. So like along with my
Okay.
college, I went there on weekends and spent there 2 hours a week. Yeah, directly with
In
the
person
students.
interaction.
So in person. So it was before pandemic. So that was a really good
Right.
experience. So
Okay.
you
Nice.
just
Hmm.
cannot write volunteered at U and I in your application form. it is very difficult, for them to understand what UNI is, what did you did
Correct.
there.
Yeah.
So you need to be really specific about it. So it was like volunteered at UNI, taught a student of standard 10, taught him English, knew his interests, and prepared curriculum according to that. And what was the final result? He scored 75 plus marks in his 10th exam. So you
Oh,
see,
nice. Okay.
there's this
Right.
experience. What, to
This is
whom
the
did you
impact that
provide
you're
your
making. Yeah.
impact, and what was the end result? What
Correct.
thing you did? Because a lot of people volunteer for UNI,
Yes.
and I'm sure that all of them must be doing a really great job. But if you're presenting it to someone, you need to show like what you did, what unique thing that you did as well, and what was the
Correct.
outcome of
Yes.
it. So that is very important, even with the positions of responsibilities that you hold during college, be it a fest or anything. So I was the overall
Yeah.
event head for one sports fest in college. It's called Sports Saga. So you
Okay.
just cannot write I was this. You just cannot write the title and say I did this, I did this. You need to be very specific. How many events? I told like 18 plus events. Introduced one
Events.
new
Okay.
event called Midnight Cycling. The footfall was
Okay.
over 10,000 people. So you put on these
Okay.
bullet points, and all of that you need to do in 50 words. So you need to make sure you eliminate the unnecessary words. So it all shows how professional you are when someone else is saying. So that is what creates the
Right.
difference, because a lot of people will be having 999 or even 101010. So and they receive about 18,000 applicants. So they need to shortlist and eliminate
Exactly.
someone. So that is where all the difference
Yes.
comes.
Correct.
And during the interviews, it's mostly about you prepare like some questions that by default will be coming to you. So you
Right.
prepare as, yeah, so there's no, like, you cannot go be and started like, oh, tell me
Yeah.
about
Right.
yourself, and you're like, oh, my name is Yashwant. Oh, what else? I mean, you cannot go. You need to have a
Okay.
prepared answer for about
Yeah.
90 to 1. You should not be like, you speak for 20 seconds and you're like, oh, what else? I mean, you should be thoroughly knowing
Okay.
what you need to be telling. So that's there for sure. And then it goes on smoothly. You need to be attentive to others as well. So during the first interview, yeah,
Okay.
candidates,
Okay.
yeah, so both of them had work
Okay.
experience as well. So
Okay.
the benefit that I had was like, I had an experience in a manufacturing plant during my third year internship in college, and I also had worked for an ed tech startup, which I told you initially, for which I developed logical reasoning questions for. So basically, knowing your surroundings, being aware of multiple industries as such, really helps you in these sort of
Right.
situations and helps you answer them better, in a better way. So I knew I had
Okay.
killed the first interview literally. But yeah, the
Yes.
guy who was announcing the results, he pranked me that you're not selected. And then
Oh.
he told me,
Okay.
oh, all of, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I knew that if one of us has to be selected, has to be me, or either the
Yeah.
entire batch gets washed out. So that was how
Right.
sure I was. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now, can you tell me why did you choose SPJIMR? What differentiates SPJ from other B schools?
Yeah, it was in
Sure. Sure.
Mumbai.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it was in Mumbai, and it is one of the premier schools. So I thought like, if I would get SPJN, I would definitely go for that. And from like starting from the basics, like for me choosing SPJN, so the reason is simple. Like I thought that this was the best call that I could get, because it was a profile based call and there is no quota as such. So it's an open thing, and not a lot
Right.
of colleges like offer profile based selection. And the second reason is, what differentiates is like, you go and see the website or use the mobile interface, like starting from the basic, it would be probably one of the best websites that you've seen, like of any institute or college, probably. Like it is very smooth and it is very user friendly, so that shows like how professional a college or university is. And even the admission process, I mean, it was like really beautiful. Everything is very well informed and very well articulated. You never feel that, oh, I mean, what do I do next? Like start like right from the beginning, everything, even the query redressal thing, like whenever you have queries,
Right.
they're like, they tell you, oh, your query has been uploaded, it will take this much time, by the time you get a response. If you don't get a response, you
Right.
you should do this. So all these little things, I mean, are there, which really
Right.
shows that the quality of the institute. And also, apart from all these little things, I mean, it also focuses on value based growth. both spiritual and materialistic growth. So these are the topics that I've been listening to while I was a child from my parents. So that really attracted me towards this particular
Right,
institute as such. So this is something which differentiates this from other colleges. And yeah, apart from that, I mean, it is
right,
up to
yes.
like, yeah.
Perfect. So finally, can you give us some tips for the CAT aspirants and also specifically for those students who are trying to get into SPJIMR?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Now
regarding the
you.
tips, I mean, I think consistency is very important while preparing for CAT. So that is something which helped me like to get it, like I mean, decent marks in CAT as well. And also, you need to be like not just preparing for CAT. You need to be inquisitive about the things around you, the things that interest you. It need not be like finance or operations as such. I mean,
Yeah.
general things that like
Right.
that interest you. You need to be like knowing a lot about at least one or two things that
Right.
really
Your
keep your
favorite
interest. So
sport or something like that, for example.
yeah, your favorite sport, I mean, books as such, anything, I mean,
Right.
Bollywood even, movies.
Right. Yeah.
So all these
Movies. Yeah.
things. So a business school basically sees, I mean, what value can you add, and the diverse people that they attract and the knowledge that they have, it really adds value to the entire group. So that is one thing. And also, I mean, forget, I mean, whatever you've done in the past, like, I mean, what CGP you have, just don't think, ponder much about it. Just see, I mean, what options you have from this point. I mean, like, I see it in this way, like, I really screwed in the DILR section, like, for the first 20 minutes, I didn't even answer
Okay.
one question. But at every point of time, I see that what is the next best thing that I can do at this point of time. And even while preparing for CAT, I mean, I knew that SPJN is the best shot that I can get. So I need to, put in all my efforts in converting this call. So you know at every point of time that what is the next best thing that you can do, and focus on that and forget
Yeah.
about what you've done in the past. So that is the best piece of advice. I mean, don't think that, I mean, what your previous mock score was or what your previous like academic record is. Just focus on the next best thing that you can do and do it to the best that you can, and things will go fine. Yeah.
Right. Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Yashwant. You gave some really valuable tips. You gave some very good insights about how to prepare for SPJ, how to build one's profile, and how to crack the interviews. I'm sure it helps a lot of aspirants, especially the ones who are targeting SPJIMR Mumbai. Thank you so much, and all the best for your MBA journey at SPJ.
Yeah, sure, thank you so much. I would really like to help, like if anyone needs anything more, like while building their profile, while writing the form. So I'd be like you can share my email ID or something like that, so that they can get in touch with me or something like that. I mean,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
So
Thanks a lot.
yeah.